Friends, my name's Eric. So, I didn't enjoy the shift of conversation to conspiracy stuff. Yeah. But I did very much enjoy the conversation about the Mandela effect because one of the guys on there was talking about it. He tripped me out with a couple of examples. It's just like, you gotta be kidding me. I remember that shit, man. So clearly. If you want to look up more Mandela effect stuff. The thing is, though, I keep coming back to the same problems with the idea. Why would it only change some people's memories and not others? Why would it only change? Why would it leave artifacts? I, for quite some time, felt like I know what I think about the Mandela effect. Like, okay, well, I can explain that with basically the way memory works and that some things are misremembered, false memories, etc. A lot of times people will strongly remember something, and even when given proof that they were wrong, they'll just continue to say, no, that I remember it clear as day. Well, like on the live stream at Taylor's earlier, when we were talking about the Mandela effect, one of the issues that came up was the expression that I know from the Lord's Prayer, but apparently is in the Bible as well, that says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I was raised by a Catholic grandfather. I mean, I wasn't raised by him, but when I slept over there, he had me say the Lord's Prayer. I memorized it. I don't just remember it, right? I memorized it. Um, there's no conceivable way as a child that I would have confused forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors for forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. The construction of the thing is different. It's like there's zero possibility I remember wrong. Just like the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Things you memorize in childhood are not subject to the same sorts of um, false memory as things you remember. I do recall vaguely, I don't know how many years back, the first time I encountered this debtors thing. And like, that's not what it says. And then I learned, like, okay, well, there are different ways to say it, right? Um, Now, I don't know if I never read it from the Bible. Okay, I never read the Lord's Prayer out of the Bible in order to say it. My grandfather said it out loud. I just remembered it by hearing him and repeating after him, right? And I can still say it to this day. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. For thine is the power. Okay. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and deliver us from evil, and deliver us not into temptation, but protect us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever and ever. Amen. Okay. I remember it because I memorized it as a little kid. There is zero possibility that the way I remember it is a false memory. Okay. It's not the kind of memory that's subject to being called a false memory, is my point. it's not because I subjectively feel strong about it. It's because that sort of memory is not subject to being a false memory. Now, what I don't know is if the Bible said it that way, and because, like I said, I never read it from the Bible, but when called upon to look in Bibles and see what it says in the Bible in a verse, Matthew book 6, verse 12, that says that thing, it says debtors in all three of the Bibles I looked at. So when I Google, does the Lord's Prayer say trespasses, debt, or debtors? It says you could say it either way, you know? So I'm not sure quite what to make of that one, right? I don't know what to make of that. I do know that I definitely remember the Lord's Prayer as being trespasses, trespass, but I have no way of knowing whether the Bible said it that way or not. But then came the two examples that I just can't believe it. It's like, okay, so apparently I haven't verified what this guy said, but if what he said is true, it is just I what? What is that toy store in New York called? The one that was in the movie Big. Lou, can you tell me what the Toy Store's name is? Yeah. Boy, was the transphobia virulent over there. In the new Matthew Bible, trespasses is a translation used from Mark 6:12. Okay, so my point was about that one. I remember it clearly as trespasses, but the fact that it says something different in the Bible is not indicative to me that anything's changed. That was actually the example of, to me, not indicative of something changed because who knows? I didn't read it from the Bible in the first place. On the other hand, I'm having a lot of trouble coming to terms with this last one. Yes, thank you, Acacia, FAO Schwartz. What do you remember it as? I do remember learning a Charles Peanut guy's name as a kid and that it didn't have a T. It was a special interest of a friend. Huh. Okay, well, was the so you must have been, were you listening to the part as well about the toy store? What do you think the toy store's name is called? So, I mean, this phenomenon with FAO Sports, is it pronounced FAO Schwartz still, even though it's not spelled with a T? If people pronounce it FAO Schwartz, then it's likely intuitives are going to go, it must be spelled with a T, or a variety of people might think that, and remember it as such. If it's still pronounced Schwartz, but the T is not there, then that to me is not that trippy after all. Let's see. Most shocking Mandela effects. 40 Mandela effect examples that will blow your mind. Are you guys ready to have your minds blown? The first time I saw this Star Wars thing, this one blew my mind before. I was like, I could have sworn C3PO was gold all the way, all the way gold. This thing? I mean, like, what? Do you remember that? Do you think that would stand out? This one I get. The reason it's Jif and Jiffy, people think there's a Jiffy, is because there's a Jif peanut butter and there's a Skippy peanut butter, and people can get the two combined. It's not Looney Tunes, it's Looney Tunes. I don't remember it as being either one in particular. The Berenstein Bears didn't exist. Which one? It's spelled with an A? I'd seen this one before, but is that really correct? That it's spelled with an A? Why would it be pronounced Berenstein then? That's crazy. Curious George doesn't have a tail. I don't really remember it either way. It's Sex and the City, not Sex in the City. I don't really remember it either way. That one doesn't trip me out. This one doesn't trip me out. This one trips me out a little bit. That looks so wrong to me. And this looks so right. This one I don't remember either way. So I guess this is how people remember it. This is how it actually is. I mean, I don't remember that either way, really. King Henry VIII turkey leg? I don't really remember this either way. The Monopoly Man and his monocle. Yeah, I remember him with the monocle too. The first time I saw this, I was tripped out by this one too. I do remember him with a monocle. I can't remember it either way in particular. Hyphenated or not hyphenated? I don't really remember either way. This one also, I've seen it before. It trips me out too. I remember it with a cornucopia for sure. Apparently, it never had one. I don't remember it like that. I remember it like this, if at all. Double stuff or stuff? I don't remember. I can't even tell the difference between these two. This one is weird. I it, I have no recollection from the time when I mean I saw Star Wars 8 times or whatever. This silver leg is I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I don't remember either way. This is chartreuse? This green one is chartreuse? Not this one? I never would have guessed that. But it's not because I don't know. I would assume I just wouldn't know because he doesn't say life is like a box of chocolates. He says life was like a box of chocolates. Why would he say that? Yeah, I remember it as mirror, mirror on the wall too. This one I can't even tell anymore what I remember. Run, you fools. I do remember him saying, run, you fools. The fact that we remember Hannibal Lecter saying, hello, Clarice. And the reality that all he said was, good morning. What? I remember that hello, Clarice. There's no of the world and we are the champions. I think that's just everybody's NI saying it should be there. You might start singing like it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's actually it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Good to know.
Okay.
Sinbad never played a genie?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, he did. So he did put in a movie called Shazam.
Um,
And they're saying it never
they
happened.
distinctly remember seeing the comedian in a movie called
Yeah.
Shazam. Was there never any such movie? I mean, I don't remember this one, but
This was like that was like in the early '90s.
you think there was a movie in the 90s called Shazam that this guy played a genie in, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, well, let's Google it. Several social media users claim to remember a similar 1990s film called Shazam, starring comedian and actor Sinbad as a genie. Sinbad's daughter, Paige Bryant, says the movie did not happen.
That's so weird.
What is this then? I mean that's kind of weird that because it was saying Sinbad never played a genie, and you're like, yeah, he did. It was in a movie called Shazam. It was in the 90s, and that's exactly what it says people say, they, right? But you had no None of those extra details. Except just Sinbad never played a genie, is all I said. And you said, yeah, he did. It was in a movie called Shazam in the 90s. Wow. That is weird. Oh my God.
Can you be my safety blanket?
What does that mean?
Like, I feel extra vulnerable now that we're like moving again.
Okay, so what are you asking me to do?
Nothing really.
Okay. I mean, am I your safety blanket? Of course. I thought maybe you were asking me to go to bed with you right now.
No, I just.
Yes, of course I'm your safety blanket, darling. Everything's gonna be fine. Even better than fine. Even all the way up potentially to good.
Thank you. Okay.
Maybe
I like that. I love you.
even better. I love you too, darling. Okay. Now that is trippy. That is trippy. Rachel, never having heard any sort of Mandela effect thing about Sinbad, right? Never having done that. Never having heard anything about this. Never knowing it'd be a Mandela effect thing. I said, Sinbad never played a genie. And Rachel laughed and said, no, yeah, he did. It was in a movie called Shazam in the 90s. That movie never existed. But she's not the only one who thinks that. Now, that is oddly specific, right? To remember that so much, to so much remember that Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam in the 90s in which he played a genie, that when I say to you out of the blue, Sinbad never played a genie, you laugh and say, yeah, he did. It was in a movie called Shazam in the 90s. That's fucking trippy. Because that movie never existed. And she is not the only person who remembers that specific set of details. I mean, how trippy is that? That is tripping me the fuck out. Meow. What do you want, Mr. Meowsing Pants? Like, okay, that one's tricky to explain. It's a trippy one, and it's tricky to explain. Like with the Nelson Mandela thing, you can reasonably make a relatively convincing argument that people are confusing him with Desmond Tutu, who did die during that time period. Makes sense, right? If people misremembered Sinbad being a movie called Shazam in the 90s in which he played a genie, and it was really Eddie Murphy, well, that wouldn't be that trippy. You know, that wouldn't trip me out that much. If Sinbad had been in a different genie movie, this one I have to look up and research, and it wasn't actually called Shazam though, but like the character said Shazam, that would not impress me. But in fact, Shazam, what's his name? Sinbad never played a genie in any movie. And yet, not just Rachel, but a bunch of people apparently remember very clearly that he did. So much so that if you prompt them, Sinbad never played a genie. They'll correct you with, yes, he did. It was in a movie called Shazam in the 90s. That's weird. I don't know how to explain that. Wait, Desmond Tutu died in 2021? Okay. You're fucking with me, right? You're making a joke, right? When I was looking up like trippiest examples of Mandela effect, but what just happened is way trippier than any. Hold on a second. You're telling me that Bishop Desmond Tutu died in 2021? Morgan Freeman's not dead. Okay. But did everybody get how crazily trippy and kind of inexplicable what happened with Rachel there is? A variety of people on social media insisted that Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam in the 1990s. And as Rachel's walking through the room, and I happen to read that thing, merely the statement that Sinbad never played a genie prompted her to name the movie and the decade that everybody else named. Did Mandela finally die? Are you sure she's never heard it before? The Sinbad movie is a popular Morgan Freeman thing. Is that what we're going to call it from now on? Yeah, I get Shaq played Kazam in a movie where he played a genie, but who would confuse Shaq for Morgan? I mean, who would confuse Shaq for Morgan Freeman playing Sinbad? Okay, well, it's starting to make more sense actually now that you guys are saying all this stuff. Makes a lot more sense. All right, fine. I'm convinced it's not that trippy. You win. Okay, well, trying to make more sense, you know. Um, well, I don't believe in the Mandela effect either, but I like being tripped out by paranormally stuff. Okay. Smokey Bear. Contrary to popular belief, his name isn't Smokey the Bear. Neil Armstrong's death. Oddly enough, people had no recollection of Neil Young's death, it says. Neil Armstrong's death. Who would pay attention when Neil Armstrong died? Who cares? Billy Graham's death. Don't remember. '86. Space Shuttle Challenger explosion happened in 1986. Well, let's see. And in the beginning of '88, I was in senior year. '87, junior year. '86, sophomore year. No, it could not have happened in '86. I clearly remember exactly which classroom I was sitting in at Foothills Middle School when this Challenger shuttle explosion happened. I don't remember which year it was in, but I guarantee you I was in middle school. I was it was in the corner math room by the stairs on the second floor on the west side of the school. I was in that classroom. The teacher had a TV against the south wall, and we were all sitting around and had turned our desks towards the thing. That's when it happened. I don't remember what grade I was in middle school, but I know for sure that it happened when it happened when I was sitting in that classroom. So it could not have been 1986. Oh, yes, it could. Because, wait, no, it couldn't. Because the beginning of my senior year is '88. That's September '88. The beginning of my junior year is September '87. The beginning of my sophomore year is September '86. That's after January 28, 1986. It had to happen before then. The latest it could have happened in 1985. I'm absolutely certain of where I was when I saw that fucking thing happen. Well, I had no concept of when it happened, right? It's like if you would have told me it happened on this date, I would have been like, okay. Unless I walked back to figure out if that was possible in conformance with what I remember. Granted, my memory might be false, but it's a very detailed false memory. It was a dramatic event, so it was kind of like easy to remember the place and time where you were, you know? But yeah, they rolled the TV into the room. May have already been in the corner, I'm not sure, but it was on one of those rolling things. Yeah. And turned it on, and we all turned our desks to watch it. I even approximately remember where I was sitting. It's called an audio-visual cart, okay, guys? I I believe that I created some false memory. What grade were you in, Lou? You're about my age. Did you get to watch it at school? But Ruben, 9/11 just happened 2 years ago. That one I just cannot explain. Grandma's Pam, your memory is right on the money. I'm impressed with it. Patrick Swayze's death. He died of pancreatic cancer. That's what Rachel told me the other day. I was asked about him. He came up in a conversation because we were thinking Swelsey is a good name for Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce couple, which reminded me of Swayze. And Rachel told me, no, he died. And I said, what did he die of? And she said pancreatic cancer. So she does remember what actually happened, not the alternative. Leonardo DiCaprio's first Oscar? I have no recollection of that one way or the other. If you've ever been to the Magic Kingdom, do you recall where the castle is located? Some, even one Orlando local on Reddit, clearly remember it being in the entrance park. It's because it is in Disneyland, just not in Disney World. All right, so the one of those that is blowing my mind that I can't explain, but I only have subjective data to go on is why I remember so clearly where the specific room at Foothills Middle School that I was sitting in when we watched the Challenger explode. And now it's telling me I was in 10th grade when I was in high school, in a different school, not ninth grade when I was, because my middle school went through ninth grade. I don't know how to explain that, except I guess just this whole time I've made up this memory. But see, it's like that one is really strange because it's not like I had a memory of which year it occurred in. I just remember where I was when it occurred. And then when I worked the math backwards, I determined, hold on a second, it couldn't have happened that year. So, I don't know what to make of that one. Does anybody else remember any other old people remember? The lion and the lamb is a little weird too, right? The lion would lie down with the lamb. Now it says like the wolf and something else. That's weird. I will scroll up. Let's see. Harry Flair says, sorry, don't mean to throw a wrench in your stream host, Eric, but I've been watching some of your older videos for dot connecting and gained some insight. Saw you were live and want to say thanks. You are welcome. Of course, Aries. Thank you for watching my videos. My mom called me and said some shit went down. Do you remember that movie where the planes hit those towers? Was there a movie when that happened? I'm no Amriki. What's an Amriki? Guys, stop the stream. Aries Flair has totally derailed everything with thanks. Well, I don't feel it's been totally derailed. TBPH, though, was asking for it in retrospect. Who's TBPH? Bushy and the Neocons? I saw it, Aries Flair 09. I saw it. Atlantis, huh? You think it's the Atlanteans who are to blame? Calpana lady. It was all over here. Lion and wolf doesn't even make contextuals. I don't think it's lion and wolf. I think it's wolf and something else. Or I don't know what they said. I don't remember what they said it was. I gave good reason to believe January 28, 1986 for Challenger explosion. My parents have been telling me it happened on my first birthday for the last 35 years or so. Huh. Well, are you sure you weren't born in 84? I guess it's more likely that I misremember which classroom I was in, but I mean, it seems so clear to me. I guess that's knowledge for you. One of the qualities of it is that it seems unassailable to you. But I bet he didn't. I bet not. If it happened on the anniversary of his birthday, it makes perfect sense that they would say that. I do not remember what month it was in or anything. I have a recollection of the quality of the sunlight at the time. It was probably like 10 in the morning. I had kind of that winter quality sunlight. So January makes sense. I want more of these things. More of these trippy Mandela effects. Okay. Mandela effect examples. $63 interesting examples. Okay. The death of Bambi's mom. Wait a second. Hold on. Along with the collective trauma we all share from the death of Bambi's mom, there's also a hard fact for us to tell you. Bambi's mom does not die at the beginning of the movie. What? What? Of course Bambi's mom dies at the beginning of the movie. I remember conversations making jokes with people a long time ago about how like Disney's brutal, like showing this kids movie where the dude's mom dies right at the beginning of it. It's horrible. How can Bambi's mom not have died at the beginning of the movie? I mean, right at the beginning. It occurs 40 minutes in. She does die though. Okay. It would have been more impressive if she didn't die. I would have been like, no, she definitely died. Getting the time when it happened in the movie wrong. Well, I was a little kid. Who knows? The Rock is cooking. Avril Lavigne doesn't have milk. Did you remember Avril Lavigne wearing a white T-shirt, holding a guitar, and sporting a milk mustache? You might be shocked to find that Avril was never part of that campaign. Britney Spears' skirt in the iconic music video "Hit Me Baby One More Time" has some fans remembering Britney in a red plaid skirt. Yeah, right? If you watch the video, it's just a plain black skirt. Really? Is that true? I'm pretty sure I remember this video pretty well. She definitely had on like a Catholic schoolgirl skirt. Let me see this. It's just a plain black skirt. What? Don't you remember her being in like a Catholic schoolgirl skirt? Throw some shade on risky business. In 1983, Tom Cruise danced across our screens in Risky Business wearing a button up shirt, white socks, and sunglasses. If you rewatch the scene, you'll see Tom Cruise is not wearing sunglasses. But he surely is. It seems to me. What? I'm quite convinced that Tom Cruise wore sunglasses during that scene in Risky Business. The Eagles. Was the band called The Eagles or Eagles? Some people distinctly remember the CD cover art that says The Eagles. I mean, they're always referred to as The Eagles because if they're just called Eagles, sounds weird to say. I like to listen to Eagles. I, I, I mean, I would have sworn they were called the Eagles, but I would have guessed they were called the Eagles, but I wouldn't have known for sure, I guess. Despite being widely reputed as Desi's catchphrase in I Love Lucy, Lucy, you got a lot of splaining to do, which is what he used to say in my memory. My memory, he never said that. He said, or and he also never said, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. I remember that as well. Supposedly, the things he did say on the show are, splain that if you can. Lucy, if you'll just give me a chance to splain. Lucy, splain. Okay, start splaining. But he never said that thing that I clearly remember him saying, or think he said. Lucy, you got a lot of splaining to do. And the mirroring thing, is also kind of weird. It's magic mirror, not mirror, but I clearly remember it as mirror, but whatever. Play it again, Sam. He doesn't say play it again, Sam? He just says play it? Weird. Weird. All right, so this one I'm not sure. I wasn't sure about myself, but maybe it'll trip you out. I kind of do remember there being headbands and sweat bands and stuff. Apparently, you might remember him with sweat bands on his head and wrists. Nope. I don't know. Tinkerbell. Remember how Tinkerbell used to write the Disney logo with her wand and dot the I at the end? Hmm. Another piece of art has people questioning what they saw. The Scream is one of the most reproduced and satirized works of art. It is of a person frozen in a scream. In the past, people never saw the gold bracelet on the right hand. I still don't see it. No. Okay, you're making me mad now. Oven Eminem not have a gold bracelet on his hand? Huh. Well, I never would have guessed that, but I don't find that especially convincing because I haven't paid that close attention to the thing. What's this one? You seriously don't remember? This one, I don't know what to think about that one. That one, yeah, I don't know about that one at all. Shaggy's Adam's apple. Yeah, what? He doesn't have an Adam's apple? I mean, don't you remember his Adam's apple clearly? What the hey? I don't remember this being captain or not. Where is South America? Yeah, that's where South America is. I mean, it's to the right. I don't know whatever about that. Chick-fil-A. Morpheus never said, "What if I told you?" Silver leg, chartreuse. Ford logo, curly or not curly, I don't know. Carmen San Diego's coat, I don't know. Smokey the. Lindbergh baby was found, but it was found dead. How many in JFK's car? It looks like four, five, six. Interview with a vampire or interview with the vampire? I don't know. What does the thinker look like? He's resting his chin in his hand. Yeah, like that. His chin is actually on the back of his hand. Oh, close enough. Butthead, Staples logo. Half open staple. Doesn't look like it there. I don't know. These ones are. What is this? How are these? These are emojis. Emojis that never existed. The flip flop, the robber, a sliced pumpkin pie with whipped cream, left facing seahorse, a hiker, toaster, or swordfish. Hmm. Well, that was interesting. I hope we've all learned a lot about the Mandela effect today. Which one tripped you out the most? Eric, look up the thing that KP mentioned, please, when you get a sec. Well, I Googled it, but I just get a bunch of, yeah. Let me just let me just Google reverse Mandela effect. I don't know what else to call this, but a reverse Mandela effect is when who's OK file 3409. This is when an already affected individual who believes in the Mandela effect becomes skeptical of someone else's Mandela effect. I think this may become a more common occurrence as time goes on. Example, Moneybag 73 claims to remember the band Megadeth and not the current Megadeth. It has always been Megadeth to me, so I jumped to believe right away that he was just wrong. This may not be the case at all. There are others who comment there and remember it as Megadeth. I mean, reverse Mandela effect. You mean like it sounds like it's just assuming the Mandela effect is legit when it feels legit to you, but because you remember it differently, but assuming it's not legit if you don't remember it differently. But only an idiot would think that. Like, if you're gonna afford legitimacy to your own on on the strength of your memory, then you'd have to afford legitimacy to other people on the strength of their memory. Um, but I mean, that's the best argument against the Mandela effect is the fact that there's no mechanism anybody can conceive of that would change reality and some people's memories, but not other people's memories, right? Hi, Kay. There's a memories in the corner of my mind. They got put on timeout into the corner. It's where there's the one Mandela effect, and you have posts talking about it, but then it changes again without changing the other discussions. Huh. Okay, I just read it, but I guess I have to see an example of it to understand whether it like to see how it could be explained, right? Am I okay? I'm pretty okay. So, yeah, see if you can find it. I mean, I can see if I can find it. All right, I'll tell you about my circumcision. I was shortly after being a newborn boy, and it was time to get circumcised. The circumcision specialist came into the room, but I could tell he was green. He was new. He probably hadn't done this before. Started sort of reaching towards me with a shaking hand. I said, "Give that to me." I grabbed that out of his hand and I circumcised myself. Nice clean cut, just the right amount of foreskin cut off. Sure, as a newborn, I wanted to cry. It hurt, but I just bit my lip and toughed it out. Handed him back the knife. Said, "Experiment on the next one." She said, "Don't you mean practice?" I said, "Cut me some slack. I've been born for 6 hours." I have a lot of weird memories from my first couple of days of life. Yes, including jumping over the Grand Canyon on a horse. So what are we going to do with all this extra? Yes, we did have a Reuben foreskin joke. It goes like this. Reuben R. and his foreskin walk into a bar. And the bartender says, "Hey, we don't serve your kind here." So Reuben's foreskin says, "I'm sorry, Reuben. You're going to have to stay outside. They don't serve Mexicans here." Ruben said, "But if I'm Mexican, then aren't you Mexican too?" And the bartender said, "You look cool to me," to the foreskin. And he looked to Ruben. "You, not so much." So Ruben had to wait in the car. It was hours later that his foreskin stumbled out, blinding drunk. Ruben was pretty resentful at that point. "I kept calling your cell." My bad. I had it turned off. Where can we just go? This is one of the reasons why Ruben is regretted more often than he can count, asking the doctors if he could keep his foreskin. Yeah, I was thinking what would be a good idea would be to draw lines on my body, indicating like different portions of me as being different races. You know, my knees could be Guatemalan, my feet could be Chinese. My left hand could be Swedish, my right hand could be Congo, from the Congo. Congolese, is that what you call them? And people ask me, like, well, which part of you is black? I'd say my right hand is Congolese. You can see. Okay, but you also see you're Asian. Yeah, that's right here. From here to here. But you also say you're an old lady. Oh, that changes with time. It's not geographically designated. And a little boy? And a little girl. Depends on the time. Sometimes I'm an old lady and a little girl at the same time. It doesn't mean you can split the difference and call me a middle-aged woman. Like when I watch Kuma 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 Bear and then go to bed at 8 p.m. Or Soaring Pretty Cure. Pretty Cure is it's a little bit just too girly for me. I can only get so girly with my anime. And that one is as sparkle core as it gets. You might not have my glasses. I do. Keep putting them in different places. Fuck me and my glasses, you know? Fuck me and the glasses I wrote in on. I'ma get Burbank playing in the next day or so. I'm glad. Glad to hear it. You're getting it this late. It's gonna cost you, Burbank. And bathroom European? I'm not sure what that means, Acacia. I'm talking about an in-bathroom European. Can I talk to Jacques right now? No, he's an in-bathroom European. Well, barely awake is better than barely alive. You know, I think the cool expression is with child. She is with child. Especially when you combine it with the word gravid. She is gravid with child. It's like somebody like in the 9th month. They're gravid, big, with child. I filled her with my man seed. Now she is gravid with child. Ooh, fill me with your man seed. No. My man seed is too powerful. But a single drop can launch 1,000 children. That'd be a good thing to say if you're out in public with your extremely pregnant wife. Someone goes, "Oh my God, when's your due date?" Instead of letting her answer, you go, "I filled her with my man seed. Now she is gravid with child." Okay. No doubt we will soon go to the hospital and have the child removed from her womb. You mean she's gonna give birth? You can't give birth. Birth must be taken. Honey, are you okay? Yeah, fine. Why? Yeah, I don't like traveling by plane either. I noticed that when I travel somewhere by plane, almost always I return home sick. It's like a plane is possibly the best place in the world to catch a cold. You got recycled air, everybody breathing it, regardless of whether they have a cold. And your immune system's taking a hit just because traveling's so rough on your body, already. And it's wherever you go, it's subjected to, new variations of things that normally would be able to fight off, but in combination with all that shit, you end up coming home sick. Gravid with fees. Yeah, well, I don't doubt that you could drive. You seem like the kind of man Who get in the car and just drive to LA, make a couple stops. You know, I don't know how long it is. You might have to stay one night in like a motel, probably like sleep 6 hours, get up, keep going and get there. We have an upcoming 15th flight. Not looking forward to the journey. And of course, Ruben, I want you to consider another possible transportation approach. You could go by hot air balloon. Be a little slow, but you'll get there eventually. Could take a train. Train tickets aren't necessarily much cheaper than plane tickets. You'd have to see. I don't know how long the train takes. It might just take 15 minutes, in which case that would probably be your best choice. Meow. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm getting tired, and I think it's about time for bread. About time to make like a sandwich and bread. So I love you all. I'll see you again soon. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.